were to share, now obviously everybody's obstacle that they're trying to overcome to reach their success, to reach their goal, is different. But what would be one suggestion you would give to somebody that has possibly hit this seemingly insurmountable obstacle and just can't see that underlined positive at this moment? Is there one particular thing that you can think of that you might share with us that to help them start focusing on that underlining positive?
Absolutely. And the first thing we have to do is use our bodies and move. You know, to make really things happen differently when we're in that really down and it's not working and nothing's working kind of place. Most important thing is to pick yourself up and do something physical. Take a walk, even if you don't feel like it. You know, even if it's just getting in the car and driving a car, you're still moving other muscles. We need to kind of shake ourselves on some level out of that moment of despair, because if not, we start a reverberating loop of what I call the knots, the N-O-T-S, and they're also K-N-O-T-S. And the knots are am not, cannot, should not, will not good enough. And it starts circling. And when we do that and we're sitting with it, nothing can change. So we have to, it's easier to change your physiology, to move, than to change your psychology. So I always say, go do something. Just cook a dinner, anything, so that you're moving different muscles in the body, and that will start to make some of the change happen. That's an important first step when you're really at that place of the knots. Okay.
And is there because it sounds like there's a second step you want to share with us here, just from the way you started that.
Well, there are quite a few steps. The next step is to sit down and write something. Now, this is important. I've done some research on this, and journaling does make a difference. It actually is good for the immune system, by the way. Little side goodie you get from this. But really? It's not, but they've done research. If somebody wants it, they can contact me and I'll get the specifics. I don't have it in front of me right now. But here's what I have found works best. And that is that you take a pen and a piece of paper. You remember pens? You remember pieces of paper?
Yes. Okay. I journal every day, actually.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Not on the computer. Some people say, well, Sylvia, why do you say not on the computer? And this is interesting as I kind of dug into this. When you're typing on the computer, your A and my A, or your T and my T all look the same. When we're writing, it's very unique and special to us. It also, from the hand, there's a very specific kind of movement from the hand to the brain. And it's really, really important to get that going. So that when you write like that, what happens, I have found myself, and as I've talked with, hundreds of other people, is that they start writing even more deeply, more emotionally, and it is the emotions that drive us. And when we have obstacles, it's the not the logical part that kicks in, it's the emotional part. It's the knots that I talked about, and we always go to the not working part of it. So when you journal, and one of the things you can do when you journal is just write down your thoughts. Another is write down what happened and then create a new scenario, a new ending. It will begin to make some changes in your brain, in the way the neurons go clicking along to get to your brain. So those are important things to do.
Oh, amazing. Okay. So you'll first and foremost, remove yourself from the initial situation, get some blood flowing in the body, whether it be go for a walk, and then journal. Now, when you're journaling about all of the positive outcomes that can happen, or are you, because I know also I've heard a lot, and maybe you can clarify this, is a lot of journaling. I know Bob Proctor, a mentor of mine, says a lot of the times, just to release, to let it go, write it down and then burn the paper. and you release that negative feeling inside of you, and I release it and let it go. Is that along that lines of journaling as well? Should we focus on the positive end of that seemingly insurmountable obstacle when we journal, or should we release that negative pent up feeling inside in us?
It's a both and Bob
Okay.
Proctor is a wonderful teacher, and absolutely what he says is right. And I want you to look at what's interesting in what he said is
Okay.
write it down and then burn it.
Yes.
And burning is interesting because what you're doing is creating transformation. You're taking something in one form, piece of paper with words, and you're turning it into something else, kind of ashes that will be, blown to the wind or buried somewhere. Mm-hmm. So you're already thinking in terms of the new once you do that. And it's a very ancient ritual. The other is also then to sit down after you've done that and write the new answer, the new ending. And then you can put that away in a drawer, or you can burn that too. Anything so that you're constantly moving to a new place of thinking. Look, we all have our down times, and we all have things that we wish we hadn't done, or things that have been done to us that we're pretty angry about. And we have to really begin to say, what do we do with the emotions? The feelings, that's the other F word that we're talking about. The feelings are a key to how you're going to kind of climb that mountain to get to the next place past the obstacles.